Hi everybody, my name is Christian and I'm here today to present my problem and give a solution. So, overfishing is destroying the world's oceans, its ecosystems, and the species within it. My solution to overfishing, or one of the many solutions, but my biggest solution to overfishing is to increase marine protective areas and no-take zones. So, some of the causes of overfishing are that fish is a common commodity. It's been around for years. Fishing is the best way to get food. There are analogies of it. You can teach a man, or you can give a man a fish, you can teach him to fish, etc., etc. Fishing's been around forever. It's ingrained in many cultures, most cultures. And the fact of the matter is, we're doing too much of it. So there's been estimates that there's only about 70% of what was in the oceans in the 1970s left in the oceans today, based on overfishing from numerous nations. Some of the main contributors to this are China, Japan, a lot of the countries with water bordering them, and also the United States. We are not free of blame here in the United States. So, what are MPAs? Marine protective areas are kind of like state parks for water resources, and some countries have them. It's very few, very spread out which countries have MPAs, but it's estimated that less than 2%, actually less than 1.5% of the ocean, which covers over 70% of the world, less than 1.5% of the ocean is covered is an MPA. And so it's protected. There's some different regulations, a little stricter regulations, but definitely you can still fish in those areas. It's harder to fish and harder to get resources out of the ocean. So some countries with the most MPAs are the United States. So we are doing good there. We have a lot of MPAs, marine protective areas. You got Australia, Greenland. It's definitely a lot of different areas are starting to pick it up. Honestly, some of the bigger contributors haven't, though. There aren't a lot of MPAs in the China area and the Southeastern Asia area or region at all. So that's definitely lacking a lot. What are no-take zones? No-take zones are areas where you cannot take anything from the waters. Nothing. Not a silver dollar, not a grain of sand, technically, from the ocean area. And those encompass even less. It's estimated about less than 1% of the 1% of MPAs fall in the no-take zone areas. And here's a little map for you right here. Shows the ocean regions. And those no-take zone areas are very rare. Some of the people with MPAs, some of the countries with MPAs don't have no-take zone areas, so they can still fish in the MPAs. They're not useless, but they aren't strict enough. But I will say some of the leading some of the leading contributors to no-take zones are Australia and Greenland. They definitely most of their MPAs are also qualified as no-take zones as well. Unfortunately, one of the worst contributors are the United States. We have some of the largest area in kilometers of marine protective areas available, and hardly any of it. In fact, almost 0% of our MPAs are no-take zones, where no fishing, no anything can take place. So this is important for a lot of reasons. I understand it doesn't affect us a lot in San Antonio. It doesn't affect us a lot in the interstates or the inner countries of the world. But the island nations, the nations that are coastal regions, people that rely on these fish every day, rely on these resources every day, are affected by this. We take our boats out there, overfish. They have less of a healthy ocean to sustain their life, to sustain their family and the people around them. And it's a really big deal that we contribute in such a negative way to their lives without even knowing it. I know that it's hard to imagine that people's lives can be dramatically impacted by overfishing, and because you can't see in the water clearly to see how much fish are in there, it's hard to know how much have been dwindling over the years, over the last decades, over the last 10 decades. But in fact, they have been cutting down a lot, and I think it's really important that we step up and maybe get some UN groups together, some countries together to work together and not only improve those MPAs to where there are stricter regulations, but also really, really push to make more areas that are MPAs into no-take zones. The no-take zones is the biggest thing that can help overfishing and help cut down overfishing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you realize how beautiful the oceans really are. I think it's important that we protect the oceans because it's over 70% of the Earth. It is the biggest part of the Earth. So if you protect the oceans, you help protect the Earth, healthy you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a nice day.